Oh, yeah. Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, coming to bring you that boom bop, reggae, pop, blues, everything right here, right now, to you and yours at your front door. So let me introduce you to the ladies of Wednesday. She goes by the name of Jackie Renee Johnson.
Hey. Morning.
Yes. Beautiful day, ladies.
Mm-hmm. That's how we would greet folks across the yard down the country.
Oh yeah, morning
on the porch. Morning.
With the mug in hand too.
Yep.
Like literally.
How do Jamaicans greet each other?
The same way.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh. Yo, in Jersey, be like, what up? There's so many different greetings. I like Detroit. What up, though? Yeah, but that's about it. Ladies, how are y'all? I mean,
I don't know.
It's a lot.
I don't know.
It's always a lot.
I am still here. That's an accomplishment because
it is.
Every time I leave this piece, every time.
I like that floral jacket you got on there.
Thank you. It's just a little top.
Oh, look at that.
This was one of my little Shein Temu. And you know what?
Uh-oh.
Y'all gonna stop clowning Shein and Temu because where you think Iran got them fake? Inflatable tanks. Inflatable tanks and fake fighter jets that they painted on the ground that the U.S. and Israel dropped their $1 million bombs on.
What? So wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean this president over here didn't have real tanks?
Okay, first of all, that's not the president. He is not the president. Ayatollah Moshe Khamenei is the supreme spiritual leader. Ayatollah means Shiite spiritual leader. He is kind of like not quite, but think about like he's the Muslim Pope for Shias.
I feel like that's the best way. I feel like that's the best way to explain it for people to understand it.
Yeah, he's like the Shia Pope in Iran. Iran has a president. They have a full government that they elect. Now, the Ayatollah is also voted on and elected among the Council of Religious Leaders, just like the Pope is elected, although they don't do the smoke.
But who listens to the Pope?
What do you mean, who listens to the Pope?
I mean, does the president listen to the Pope and be like, you know what, I don't think
they offer advice, but they do not govern. They do not issue laws. The president does that. And the president is, what's his name? His name is Masoud Pezeshkian. Forgive me if I mispronounce.
Pezeshkian. You got it.
Pezeshkian, yes. And this is a picture here. I'm showing you a picture of him so you don't you stop confusing him and the president, but and the Ayatollah. This is the president.
Oh, okay.
Masoud Pezeshkian. But the other person is Moshe Khamenei, the son of the slain Ayatollah Khamenei. Yeah. So
with
he's not the president. He's like he's the
with
Ayatollah.
that said, he has the most power.
He doesn't have the
Think
most
about
power.
wait, listen. Hear me out here.
Okay.
The person that's closest to God, which would be him, that will tell the other people this is what God's will is. Power. The power of the okay. That's what religion does. That's what religion does. It uses its power to control the minds of people, and he is the closest. That wait a minute. That's like the pastor at the church. Like everybody knows, like yo, you don't fuck with the pastor. He got straight connections to God. So what he says is what God said, and he's passing it down.
No.
See what you got to say about this, Renee, before she tell me no again.
I've learned not to engage with you on Wednesdays because you just trying to make me mad. So I'm just here so Jackie doesn't have to talk to her to her just to you. That's it.
Wow.
I'm just joking. So so I will say just a quick note that growing up here in the 80s, it took a really long time before I realized the Ayatollah was a person because of the way they spoke about it on the news, right? Like 10 wins in the morning in the car with my stepfather, the Ayatollah, and it sounded like a person. It sounded like a place, right? Like it doesn't
I thought it was a wrestler.
So
Lord.
There we go. So I could see how anybody would be confused if they don't like what, how would you know? Like this place here is not interested in making sure that people have clarity on what's going on in other parts of the world. And of course, because they're always focused on the Ayatollah, people don't understand that there's an entire governmental structure that is existing in Iran, that people vote, that there's a whole process, like, but this is intentional, right? Like it's intentional for it to be perceived and to be sold this way so that, when they go and they drop bombs on schools and apartment buildings and things like that, people are under the impression that it's because they're trying to bring democracy somewhere, even though they don't have democracy here. But we'll leave that where it is.
Yeah, that's
Jackie, you ready to tell me how wrong I was? Go ahead.
Well, and it's not it's not an attack on Ear Doctor. It's a reflection of us being in this place and indoctrinated. We really are, all of us believe that what we understand as Americans, and I know that's a whole, I'm just saying, what we understand must be the truth. Like the way we understand things, that's the right way because we heard it here. So it must be the truth. And we don't even think that everything we know is wrong and backward because we're being lied to, and we are lied to and manipulated in every aspect of our life. And that's including in religion. In this country, we believe the way we do about religious leadership or religious institutions being a part of or connected to or having any influence in a country's government, if that country is in some way, in any way, anti-imperialist, all of a sudden that country is a religious theocracy. But we never say that about Rome. We never, ever say that about Rome. And that's very interesting. Like, Iran is this evil religious theocracy because they have the same kind of structure as the Pope, right? In as a way of describing it. And the United States clearly has a conservative religious institution that not only directly influences the government, but that controls the government right now. So how is it that this government is not a a religious theocracy run by fanatical religious tyrants. I mean, because it is. How is Rome not a fanatical religious theocracy? Because the doctrine of discovery, y'all. But Iran is a psychotic religious theocracy, not because they actually are, but because that's what the colonists told you about them. That's it. That is it. They are there. The influence of the council of, I can't remember what the council is called now, but the religious body that the Ayatollah is leader of, yes, they consult the government on certain things, but they don't make laws.
Yeah.
That does not mean that Iran is a theocratic authoritarian government, because women, all this stuff about, we have to free the women. Women have more advancement, more education, more rights in that country than they do here. Even queer people have more right. Did you know that transgender surgery is you just gender affirming care is just a thing in Iran? Anybody can get gender affirming care. Anybody. But in this country, several states are passing laws to criminalize the existence of trans people, literally revoking their licenses and their passports, leaving them with no way to get a correct identification, which means now they can't vote. And now there are some states in this country where people are passing a legislation to send the police into bathrooms where they suspect transgender people are good. That's not happening in Iran. But what is happening is in Iran is that these religious psychopaths are bombing those people, telling us that Iran is run by a bunch of religious psychopaths, and the religious psychopaths who are doing that and telling us are also pedophiles and child murderers and baby eaters. And we mad at Iran. Okay. All right.
I was just thinking, excuse me. I was just thinking, I'm pretty sure if the Pope got in John F. Kennedy's ear, he would be like, all right, I see what you're saying. Like, huh? Wait, wasn't he Catholic? Wasn't John F. Kennedy Catholic? How did we get to John F. Kennedy? I'm just talking about the influence of like shamans, of religious leaders, people that have that influence that could get to the leader of a so-called
and I could just be throwing words out sometimes.
I'm sorry. I just
say shamans.
We went from Ayatollah to Shia to the Pope to shaman, and now there's JFK. You know, the Pope doesn't have that kind of influence over U.S. politics, but you know who does? Israel. And I don't want to even give Israel that much credit, because Israel is a creation, the baby brother of the United States, like the Nazis were. So, yeah. I'm sorry. I
will say there are so many pictures of that weird lady who claims she's speaking in tongues while she's trying to collect hundreds of $1,000s. She's a priest. She's Trump's priest.
Oh, word?
Are you talking about Paula White?
Yes. So there's so many pictures of her like standing over him in the White House. I mean, oh my God. Those videos.
I'm telling you, yo.
So in that way, Air Doctor's not incorrect.
Thank you.
Like she in there.
But she's not the Pope.
But what I'm saying is the influence of a person that has that somewhat connection to a higher being, they can get into the ear of the person and they'd be like, you know what? I believe that. Because I was watching Batman Aztec the other day. Actually, yesterday with my daughter.
We just, you be leaps and bounds between topics, yo.
You don't understand what's going on. Malcolm, can you please help me understand what's going on? I'm very lost. Do you understand? Because I don't understand where we are.
Hey, listen.
I'm just trying to make sure.
I do a lot.
Yes. Yes.
but what I'm saying is like the person that was the shaman was right standing next to giving advice to the leader, like the chief of the tribe, and he was like, okay, If that's what the ancestors and all them say to do, that's what we're gonna do.
First of all, I'm insulted for shaman that you would equate Paula White with legitimate shaman. No, Paula White don't have God's God. I'm pretty sure God is like, I didn't even make her. I don't even know where she came from. I don't know what that is.
Who that woman
she has
hop
my
on?
ear. I'm not talking to her. I'm not talking to none of them.
Who that woman hop
Yeah.
on?
I mean, I don't know how much know how much
Exactly.
she had any influence she has on anything, but I think it's all part of this ploy to pretend as if he's part of this mega Christian thing so he can continue his nonsense. I mean, it's, you know, it's all aesthetics and visual stuff, but I do every time I see those pictures, I'm like, woo, I thought we had a separation between church and state. What? Where did that go?
There's never been.
Where'd that line go? I know there hasn't been. I'm just joking.
And that crazy ass woman, here's and I'm sure I've talked about this before, but see, this thing with the white evangelicals in this country has been brewing for a long time, and they've been in the White House. They've been. The National Prayer Breakfast was created by these people, and not the Pope, not Catholics, white Christian evangelicals who have a political agenda, right? So this has been going on for decades and decades. But Paula White came out of the Word of Faith Prosperity Gospel movement, and she used to tour with T.D. Jakes and a bunch of other prosperity gospel megachurch ministers doing this New Year's like revival tour, and she used to come to First Baptist Church of Glenarden here in the DC area. First Baptist Church of Glenarden is in Maryland, huge megachurch, extremely influential in this area. John Jenkins, a very influential Black pastor here. A bunch of Washington commanders go to that church. It's very, very bougie ass Black church, and they were the church that my youth ministry, my former youth ministry, was incorporated into and destroyed by them. But yeah, she has been she has been a part of this prosperity gospel circuit that traveled all around the big mega churches every year and did these big old revivals. And it was very much mixed in with this kind of, you know, T.D. Jakes' whole ministry of reconciliation, trying to reconcile the Black church and the white church and deal with all this racism. And then she ends up here in the White House praying over Donald Trump. And T.D. Jakes is in the mess that he's in. So the whole megachurch prosperity gospel white Christian evangelical movement is I think it's been exposed for the political Trojan horse that it has always been. And I think these folks have been exposed as charlatans, but the question is, are people leaving their churches? Are people, you know, repudiating them? Are people rebuking them? No, they're not. Not really. Not, you know, not a lot of people, not enough. And I think that is right in line with the lack of response that we're seeing from most people in this country to what the government is doing. Right. And it's just, you know, it's funny, you know, when we think about it, and I love having a good laugh at these damn people. And the book really is a condemnation of their lies. But I guess I'm not seeing, I want stonings. I think.
Wow.
I've just been
lashings and stonings.
Let me just stop beating around the bush trying to find the right words, trying to be diplomatic. I'm still trying to stick with Lent and give up at least cuss words, but that doesn't mean I can't tell the truth. I want stonings. I want public shamings. I want
Scarlet A's.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, man. I want all of that. I want shamings and shunnings, everything these people have done to folks in the pews who have violated some unbiblical lie that they said were rules that we had to live by. And it was usually women and girls that they shamed because they never, ever punished the men and boys for the shit they did. I want an uprising in the church. I want shamings. I want church disruptions. I want crimes exposed on the worship PowerPoint during praise and worship, in between the verses being projected on the screen. I want Pastor so-and-so molested the girls in the I do. Yes,
I do. You sound like Keith Sweat over here. I want.
I do. I want it. I want it.
Well, I appreciate that, Jackie. I appreciate you breaking down the term of Ayatollah. For I'm sure everybody in the chat room knew what an Ayatollah was, except for me, of course. But yes, thank you for that lesson. And speaking of God liaisons, big up to Jamal Bryant for the whole Target telling us we can go back.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
And then apologizing.
You don't like us, do you?
What? He's a God liaison. Stop.
He is not the God. Oh Lord Jesus.
Anyway, all right. We might need a break.
Was he the God liaison when he was in somebody else's bed that wasn't his wife's?
Somebody sleeping in my bed
more than once.
I mean, they say what is it? Anyway, I'm not too caught up on my biblical verses right now.
You can't even make up what they say. What can you do with that?
I mean, they say, populate the earth.
That's not. Oh God.
I guess he wasn't trying to at that time. But all right, let's go ahead and take our first break, and then we're gonna come back. I'm sure y'all had enough of me. Maybe not. But anyway, let's take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back with some more right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Number one set and sound.
Yeah. Big up everybody. What's good? Hope everybody's feeling great on this beautiful, what day is it? Wednesday? Women's Wednesday. That's right. The 18th of March. We are marching into April with weathers that's controlled by somebody. Because listen, this cold one day. It's going to be 83 degrees here on Sunday, but today and yesterday it's like 30. Wow. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about since we are talking about Women's History Month. Well, with Women's Wednesday, let's go to Women's History Month and talk about a certain sister that did her thing. A lot of people I don't think know about her, but I'm sure everyone in the chat knows this sister I'm talking about already. But let's talk about her. We're talking about Charlene Mitchell. Who is Charlene Mitchell, you ask? Well, she's a socialist, a feminist, labor and civil rights activist. In 1968, she became the first Black woman candidate for president of the United States. That's right. Everybody says Shirley Chisholm. But listen, Charlene. In 1970, she became a leader in efforts to support the defense of Angela Davis, founded the National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, campaigned on behalf of the defense of Joan Little and the Wilmington 10, and focused her activism on anti-apartheid efforts. She joined the Communist Party USA at the age of 16 and is considered to be one of the most influential leaders in the party in the late 1950s and 1960s. After leaving the party, she became a leader of the Committees of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism. Yeah, coming on straight out of New York City. You know what I'm saying? And the dope thing is she actually has a couple books she put out, like Jackie. You know what I'm saying? The Flight to Free Angela Davis, its importance of the working class was one of them, and equality. It's time has come. So if you want to know about her, check her out. She's no longer with us. She made her transition. She had a stroke back in 2007, but Mitchell died in New York City Amsterdam Nursing Home on December 14th, 2022 at the age of 92. What a life. She was out there with when Nelson Mandela got out of prison and everything. And James Baldwin used to call her the Joan Arc of Harlem because she dares to utter unspeakable truths to power. All right, with that said, let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Thank goodness for our sisters. Yes, yes, yes. All right, let's do it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Why ain't that music playing though? Let's get it going here. There we go. Yeah. All right. Y'all knew about her? I'm sure y'all did. Yeah. Well, no, don't give us that face. Like, of course. Of course. That's how they say in New York. Of course.
Of course.
I knew of her, but I actually learned a little bit of detail from you this morning, Air Doctor.
Hey,
so thank you for the information.
Yeah.
Hey man, you know, everybody. I thought Shirley Chisholm was the first. I did. Nope. Then I did a little research, and you know. So I be telling y'all research, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I used to think Shirley Chisholm was the first too, and then I started learning about communism because of Assata Shakur. Believe it or not, I read her autobiography and what she said about communism. I'm like, really? Huh. Okay. Let me look up what this means, and I learned all of these other Black radical leaders were communists that I knew about. You know, and then I found out about her. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know. So yeah.
Big up. All right. Well, I've done my good deed for the day. I'll catch y'all in the next break.
So I know you all in the chat, Renee, folks wanted to talk more about the inflatable weapons.
Because that was the best. That is the best story ever. It's just classic. It's classic.
Now, in the age of AI, I can't confirm that this is absolutely true. But I want to believe. I want to believe. I really do, because it's really fantastic if it is true. Now, this is, we see a bunch of these videos and stuff on social media where they show this is one picture, but there are a bunch of other ones that allegedly show Iranian military personnel inflating these blow-up tanks, and there's some other pictures or video showing U.S. bombs dropping on paintings of like the outlines of aircraft on the ground, so that when the bomb explodes, like nothing moves. You see the what are supposed to be the rotors of a helicopter, that when the bomb drops on it, the rotors don't move, and that's how you know it's fake. So MSNBC claims, or is it MSNBC? Where is it? They claim, or at least corporate media is claiming, that these stories are not true, that it's AI, all this kind of stuff. Okay, maybe. And this is MSN that is claiming that these stories and the videos and the images are AI. Okay, may be true, but it is still true that the United States does not know the extent of Iranian military hardware. They don't know where the weapons depots are. They know that they're underground, but they don't know how extensive the underground network Like all of Iran's military technology, I think more than 60-70% of it is underground. So nobody really knows how much hardware, missiles, drones, that they don't know how much they have. And this is why Iran has been able to continually respond to attacks the way they have, against targets in Israel, but also against U.S. military targets in the Gulf states. This is why they've been able to carry out these multiple attacks or responses on multiple fronts, where Israel and the U.S. really can't do that and can't kind of keep up with that. The U.S. and Israel are running out of weapons. Iran is not. And I don't believe all of those images and videos of $1 million U.S. and Israeli bombs. Well, they're all U.S. bombs. $1 million U.S. bombs being dropped, being wasted on fake targets. I absolutely believe
I
that's true. Absolutely believe it's true.
100% believe it.
Because I believe Iran is they petty like that, and they should be, and
Right.
it's brilliant, and the U.S. deserves it.
Right. And so we talk a lot about, like, my word for it has become hubris. Like this idea that they were gonna fly over Iran and drop a couple of bombs, and everything was just gonna turn tail, and they were gonna be able to do whatever they wanted. And there was literally no plan that entailed that these were intelligent people with scores of military personnel and the ability, and engineers, and like all the things that you would think. Like, if I'm going to pick a fight with somebody, right, I'm going to at least do the due diligence of like sizing that person up first, right? Like, how can I take this person down if I pick this fight? Like, that's really, but when you go into a fight thinking that you don't need to worry about anything because you're just going to throw the first blow and the person's going to be knocked out, and that's going to be it. So you don't plan for the person to not get knocked out and to punch you back, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, this was a wild underestimation of the capabilities of the Iranian military forces. And so, when you pick fights that you can't guarantee you're going to win, this what it looked like. And so, while they're talking about we've got it all under control, Iran is just, they've got like whole hidden things that just like I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, they did more. Okay.
Right. It's like, and I hate to be, I don't want to be like jovial about it. I do think it is interesting that the richest and allegedly most powerful military from the richest country this planet may have ever seen is having its ass handed to it by a bunch of people that they claim, like you said, Renee, are a bunch of backwards religious fanatics living in the sand, because that is literally what people in the U.S. believe about people in that region, all of them. That really is that we have this idea that we are the pinnacle, and I do mean we people in this country, and I am talking about all of us almost. We really believe that we are somehow better than everybody else in the world because we live in this piece of rock. And I think that is one of the reasons why this kind of racist, Orientalist, Islamophobic hatred about people, Persians, Arabs, Palestinians, whomever in that region. That's why it goes over so well, because so many of us really do believe we are better than people who this government has told us are a bunch of backward people. So more people in this country are literally just not caring what this country is doing to those people, because people really do believe they deserve it. Right. So that's why I think it is so easy for a lot of people, even folks on the so-called left, to make criticisms against the Iranian government before they condemn what this government is doing to Iran that was unprovoked. Iran wasn't doing anything to anybody over here. Iran wasn't doing anything to anybody except for being on the side of the Palestinians. And that pissed off the Israelis, and that pissed off the US and the EU. Let's not leave the Europeans out of it. But
I am curious sometimes, like, because I also think there's a part of this that isn't reals. I love calling it that, by the way. Isn't real. It just gives me a chuckle every time. That, isn't real's desire to be the US of that area, right? So how the US believes wholeheartedly that it's in control of every nation in the Americas total, and that it has the right to do whatever it wants, and that it should be the only group that has the ability to drop bombs. It should be the only group that determines who's in charge where. It should be able to expand and do whatever it wants, wherever it wants. And so I also think that there's a part of this that isn't real, looking at Iran and believing that they are the sovereign nation that could prevent them from being that. And so let's also, while they're at it, let's also just attack any governmental structure, any sovereign nation that might have the audacity to say, oh, no, you can't do that, you can't control that, you can't, and I don't know how much of that is me thinking too much and how much of that is the reality of it. But I feel like that also is playing a role in that Iran Iran is the biggest threat as far as they're concerned. And so, they had to do something to try and be rid of it.
Yeah, it's this is Iran has been preparing for this for decades. And they've been preparing for this for decades because the US and Israel have been antagonistic toward Iran for decades. Israel has invaded Lebanon before and bombed the region many, many times before, trying to destroy Iran because they are supportive of the axis of resistance. They're critical to the axis of resistance. And Iran has been studying both the US and Israel and its tactics, its capabilities, its strategies, and its alliances, and the strength or the weakness of those alliances. And that's exactly that. They're carrying out the strategies that they have established based on that study of their enemies. That's what this is. Iran has been prepared for this. They knew it was coming. They didn't want it to. Iran does not want to do this. Like, they are not like, no country full of people who haven't started a war with anybody in over 100 years. They don't want to do this. These people want to be left the hell alone. They want to live in peace, but they can't, because the US and Israel will not let them. So there's so much to talk about in relation to what is going on with Iran, and how it's impacting other issues around the world. So let's get into it. Let's toss the satellite and get into this.
Let's do it.
Where is he with the satellite? Where'd he go? See,
and any other time he'd be throwing it up to shut people up, because he That was good, Doctor. That was a good one.
That's cute. Okay. Very, very cute. Very cute. Welcome back to the Remix Morning Show. I'm Jackie Luke Bond. I'm joined by Renee. Thank you so much for joining today on Women's Wednesday. We're talking about Iran right now. I was trying to find this video of a woman that was interviewed in Iran. She was just a woman on the street. Here it is. Okay, let me share this video because when I just said that, Iranians, they don't want war. They do not want war. They want to be left alone. They want peace. They want the US and Israel out of the region. They want to be left alone. But ever since this bombardment, this war has been unleashed upon them, even as the bombs have been dropping, these people have been out in the streets. So this is an interview that, let me... sorry. So let me just explain. This is one of the daily, everyday protests all over the country, practically, in Iran. And they just happened to interview a woman who's outside. Do you see that she has no head covering? So it's fine. It really is fine, y'all. And she's out in a protest with her small child, and she's being interviewed. So I want to play this interview, and I hope this is the one with the subtitles and the captions so you can see what she has to say.
آقا حامین عزیز چند سالشه؟
حامی 2 سال و نیمشه پسر من.
عزیزم هنوز پوشک مصرف می‌کنی؟
بله.
خب خانم اگه آب گرم قطع شه چجوری می‌خوای پوشک این بچه عوض کنی؟
خدا بزرگ آقا. این چی اصلا ما به این چیزا
God is great. We do not think about these things.
الان سال‌هاست دارن تو این شرایط زندگی می‌کنن.
What about the Palestinian children who...
ما چه فرقی با اون داریم؟ بچه من چه فرقی با اونا داره؟ ما الان داریم می‌جنگیم که اونا هم بتونن راحت‌تر زندگی کنن. پسر من بتونه در آینده راحت‌تر زندگی کنه. اگه ما بخوایم الان بترسیم به خاطر یه آب گرم و یه پوشک دیگه، دنیا به همین قهقرایی که داشت میرفت ادامه میده. یه نفر باید جلوی اینا بیسته، یه نفر باید جلوی اینا بیسته و تو دهنشون بزنه.
خانم مرسی غیرتت خدایی صفا کردم. دمت گرم.
Just a regular old lady, a regular mom in Iran, out in the streets in a protest against the bombing of her country. They've been subjected to a chemical attack with the US bombing the oil refinery and creating the toxic rain with the huge black cloud over Tehran. That's going to create years, if not decades, of environmental and health problems. They've obviously been, are being bombed, but they've also had their water treatment attacked, and they may lose hot water, right? And eventually they may lose water altogether. And in the region where she was, that was already the reality, that they were having water problems. So even in the face of escalating hardship for themselves, this is the response of a regular Iranian woman, a regular Iranian mom who has a child that she has to take care of. And she is not even concerned about how she's going to take care of her child, because she's like, this is a small sacrifice for us to make for the freedom of all of our people in this region. And man, that video, I saw that video 2 days ago. When did I see that? A couple of days ago. And that's been sitting in my head ever since, because I don't see that kind of response from anybody in the United States about anything. And for me, this woman and the people that we have seen in the streets in Iran, when they are protesting and a bomb drops in the distance, they hear it and see it, and nobody flinches, nobody runs, nobody's screaming, nobody is afraid. Instead, they turn around and they start chanting, God is greater than this. That's the difference between those people and us. And it's not a matter of religion. It's not a matter of spiritual faith. It is a matter of humanity. They are simply better human beings than most of the people in this place. I really believe that.
I listen. When the first day of Ramadan, somebody sent me a video of, I don't know how many tables they found in the rubble and pieced together so that when it was time for the iftar at the end of the first day of Ramadan, there was an entire town of Palestinians who lined up the tables, put up their lights, and broke fast together.
Yep.
And I looked at the picture and I thought to myself, like, that the Western world does not understand what it takes to be a type of person, a group of people who are capable of that, right? Who will say, go on, we're going to go ahead and break iftar. And we're going to do it between the rubble and y'all can go suck it. Because
right. We don't care what you have to say about our
tradition, right?
About our culture, about our religion. I don't care. We don't care.
Right.
We don't care.
Right.
This is us. This is what we believe. This is what we do. And there is nothing you can do to change who we are.
Yes. And it's a gross misunderstanding of people who understand their own humanity, right? Like people who really just they don't need people in the US to confirm that they're human.
Right. And this place that has been responsible for the deaths of, what was the estimate from some study that was recently done, Renee, that the US government has probably been responsible for 50 to 60 million deaths between 1991 and the present? 50 to 60 million around the world. And that, I guess that's a smaller number because of the time frame, because I'm going all the way back. And so this place has nobody in this place has any moral authority.
Zero.
To condemn anybody else for anything. Nothing. None.
And I think that's the thing also that irritates me is, like, I listened to somebody in the chat mentioned that they were cutting a joke and saying, like, but the white lady on CNN said that Iran has a media blackout. And I was just, you got to giggle and stuff like that because they are saying that. But what people also, I think, and I think it was Yippa just being funny, but like, not even, people don't understand that when Iran says there's a media blackout, right? It's to prevent nonsense because Iran is very honest about what happens, right? Somebody is martyred in Iran and they're like, okay, this is what happened. And these are the bombs that dropped. And there's no media attempt to pretend like what's happening isn't happening, right? So it's very different here because that's what you're getting on CNN, right? There's a media black, but nobody explains that Iran is very honest about what's happening, so they can be the voice about what's going on because they're going to tell the truth about it. It's so fast. It really is. It is like a fascinating study of the human psyche and how the governmental structures here will do all the things that they claim they're going to other countries to prevent other governments from doing. It's like, it is fast, like, it's wild.
And
it's
people
wild.
in this country believe this
Yes.
Like, this is the thing, I think, Renee, that I my therapist is just like, ooh, I need you to find something else to do with your life, because I'm really starting to worry about you and this stress. But I'm really kind of ticked off at so many, at least online leftists. But honestly, I've had this conversation with people in real life on the left too. And certainly not everyone, but too many people. There is this quickness to condemn, this authoritarianism in Iran, and before any condemnation is made of what the U.S. and Israel have started doing to Iran, but what they were also doing to Gaza for nearly 3 years, that they're still doing, what they're doing to Congo, their involvement in Sudan, like Venezuela, Cuba, and so you can't focus on that until you feel like you have to point out something wrong with the Iranian regime. And it's weird to hear that from folks who claim to be progressive or left, because these are the same people who know damn well that this government, under Democrats, charged 60 people in Atlanta with RICO charges for trying to stop Cop City, basically for having a concert in the woods. The police murdered Tortuguita for sitting in the woods during that protest. And yes, those charges have been quietly dropped. But remember, it was Democrats who arrested and charged those people. And it was Democratic mayors who locked up Stop Cop City protesters across the country. It was also Democratic mayors and the Democratic president and vice president who locked up pro-Palestine, anti-genocide protesters, and facilitated universities and colleges punishing those students and expelling them from school, denying them their graduations and their diplomas, blacklisting them if they had graduated, deporting them. These are the people. These are the people who complain about this government fining or arresting people who feed the homeless, because food, the organization Food Not Bombs, they feed the homeless all the time, and they're always getting ticketed by whatever city they're in, right? So the same people who understand very well how authoritarian and fascist and undemocratic this government is, somehow feel like they need to condemn Iran's government for being authoritarian, but they don't know anything about Iran's government or society except for what they hear this authoritarian and fascist government. It makes no sense, Renee. And I have been like, you know what? I need to stay off of Facebook. I need to stay off of Facebook.
Oh, you do. So every now and again,
stay off of Facebook.
Side note, y'all. Side note. Every now and again, because Google like separates your messages, like it'll have a little thing that says Chaggy on Facebook, and I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy.
That's just.
But you know what it is? So Evan, yesterday during the show, Evan said something about our governmental structure and how people who you would want to be very condemning of this business, right? Like people really wanted to have, joy about Bernie Sanders and to be excited about Bernie. And listen, I got caught up in it just for a little bit too, because I was like, well, maybe. And then I started really listening to what he was saying, and I was like, all right, well, no, that's not going to happen, but okay. But anywho, I digress. But he was saying, we all have to at all times be reminded that at the core of it, people want the structure to remain in place, right? And so you can't expect anybody to be honest about what is happening, because if they're honest about what's happening, it really does uncover the reality of our entire political and electoral system. And they're unwilling to do that, because if they play part in that collapsing, they are also going to lose their position, right? And so I find a lot of these online left folks, and I know people take issue with the term online left. I feel like it doesn't apply to me, so I don't really, whatever, Anywho, I think a lot of these people are very willing to condemn and speak on the things that they feel like everybody else who's within the structure is in agreement with. But what they're not going to do is do anything that's gonna assist with also the unveiling of the realities of these structures. Because the minute they do that, they are going to be party to the dismantling of something that they are making money off of, right? My biggest concern, I think, with so many popular folks who sound like they're on the left, but they're not, because these are the giveaways, right? Like, if someone is willing to say free Palestine, but then cheered when Maduro got kidnapped out of his bed, right? You have to really question like what are their actual like political leanings here, right? Like what's really happening. And I think it's really important that people understand that people understand that there's an entire bubble that is built to protect this system, and they give you just enough to make you think that they actually believe the things that you believe, but at the core of it, they really just want the system to go back to the way it was, right? Which is really not any better than the way it is now. It just feels nicer, right? And so I get a lot of flack for that when I say like it feels worse, but it's not worse. Like it's not. It just feels worse, right? It's in your face. The posting things on Truth Social is like, your political like broadcast of what's happening in your governmental structure, which is wild within itself. But like, I'm like, for the tens of thousands of immigrant people who were under attack by the system, that have been under attack by the system for decades, no matter who is in the White House, for them, they're like, oh, so y'all realize this is what's happening now. Great. Like, cool. Like, now that this is what's happening. Okay, cool. Right. And so I think we have to be better. And when I say we, I mean, in general, people who want to believe that they are part of this structure that keeps getting called the left. Right. Mm-hmm. I think all of us have to be better at being clear of what makes you actually not on the left. So if at any point in time you are able to say the thing that is absolutely antithetical to what we're actually supposed to be fighting for, which is everybody's ability to just live and breathe and eat and do the things that they feel like are best for their community, at any time you do or say anything that's antithetical to that, you're not on the left. You are just cosplaying being on the left for whatever reason that you feel like it's going to be useful to you in the moment.
I agree. And I mean, yeah, I think there are plenty of conversations that can be had about what is the left in the U.S., whether there is a left in the U.S. Okay, we can have those conversations, but the fact is there are people like us who are not Democrats. We are not liberals. We're not centrists. We're certainly not right wing. And we are somewhere on the spectrum of left of that. And for myself, I'm a communist, right? So yes, there are plenty of us who are leftists. But I think if we identify ourselves as left by either saying we are communist or socialist, but without identifying, how do I want to say it, the principles that we identify with within that. Like, you can call yourself left if you want to, but if you are agreeing with imperialist narratives about other countries or other leaders, you're not anti-imperialist, because anti-imperialism is the core principle of any kind of leftism for me. Right? I don't see how you can be a leftist and you're pro-capitalist, or you think capitalism can be reformed, because that's a thing. That's the thing with some folks. And I guess some of those folks, I would call them progressives. And that's my issue with progressives, because they don't want capitalism to go away and to be done away with. They want to reform capitalism. They want to make it more progressive, right? They want the New Deal 2026. And they don't understand that, well, there's a reason the New Deal didn't do what it set out to do, because this country has never dealt with the underlying social issues that made it easy for the New Deal not to be implemented in the most fair and egalitarian way it should have been implemented. So there is a lack of unity of principles when it comes to what leftism is supposed to be, I think, in this country. And I think that's in general, but particularly the online left. Whew, that.
Oh yeah.
That the online left is oh my God.
It's an interesting space. But you know what's more interesting? The ear doctor.
He can be sometime.
I was back here working on some rhymes. I still write.
Oh, look at that.
Look at you.
On paper and everything. Is that in ink?
Nah, that's pencil.
Oh,
I know. I like ink. I like it how it goes across the page real easy. But I just had a pencil at the time, so I made it happen. I made it do what it do. I just feel like we need some more music in this world, especially when you got cats like this guy Jack Harlow.
Who is he? What is that?
He's a rapper from Kentucky. He's a rapper from Kentucky.
From where?
Kentucky. And he just put out a neo soul R&B album. I can't make this shit up.
He did what?
He put out an album called Monica, and it's like he switched genres. Like and when they interviewed him, he said he got blacker on this album.
He said
he got blacker on this album. So us on the internet. We said, "Oh, really? You making neo soul? Well, let's give you a new name." So the internet roasted this guy and had some new names. Let me take you all down this trip real quick. One of the names was Jew Hill, Music Stole Child, Neo-Nazi, Disgenuine, Charlie Kirk Franklin, January 6th in Park. Most definitely not. IRS 1. That was one of my favorite. Daniel Caesar. Music Rothschild.
Oh, no.
Honky, honky, honky. Tony. Dressed like LL Cool Whip. Proud Boys to Men.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Old Dirty Alabaster. Brian McWhite, Luca Vandross. Oh, Cream Latifah. That's another one of my. Beige Loaf. Manifest Destiny's Child. Oh my goodness. Ninth, Wonder Bread, and Chakra Khan.
I can't breathe.
Yo, the internet is a vicious place, yo. It is a vicious place.
Oh my God. I know, man.
My desk. Wait a minute.
I love her so much too, man. We would not let. No, you getting roasted. Oh my goodness. Yes. They said music stole child.
Undefeated.
So yeah.
Undefeated.
I had to give y'all a good laugh. That was
I appreciate it. I
No
appreciate
problem,
it.
no
And
problem.
there's something very wild about
Mhm.
people who are not nice to Black people, who are so desperate. I mean, desperate to be able to live a culture because they have none. It is wild. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, and another part of that too is big up to my people that actually put him out, the affiliates, DJ Drama, DJ Don Cannon. They are. Yeah, it's almost like, you know how back in the
They did what?
They put him on, like brought him to the label, and yeah. It's like how some Black artists take white people, white musicians, like they would take us back in the day and be like, "Oh, I could make some money off of them." Like the Iggy Azaleas, T.I. did, like the Eminems, like Dr. Dre did, and now you got this guy. So,
but do you think he could have done his art? Because you know, look, it's not like white folks can't rap. Okay, it's not like white folks can't, you know, do legit R&B and so okay.
Boss Gags.
Yeah, you know, look, Michael McDonald exists.
Michael McDonald, yeah.
You know, so and he exists in all of our hearts. But could he have done this without making the pronouncements that he did? And it would have gone over better if he didn't come out with I'm as black as I know this is not what he really said.
I'm blacker
but that's
now.
how it came off.
Yeah,
you know, could he have just put this out and it stood on its own and he just been humble about it? Do you think it would have gone over better?
It probably would have. The thing is, people put microphones in people's faces and they just say some shit. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't know that. But let's go ahead and take a quick break. And we gonna come back right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show.
So trifling.
Lord mercy. All right, where are we at? I guess it's time for a remix on the remix. Let's do it.
Tick tock. Hip things will get me sick. Here comes the hamster, and I know it makes you sick to see a black man getting paid on the regular. Car with the cellular, fellas, I'm telling you, I got plots and plans, pots and pans, stocks and brands to make room for the big man. I walk the streets in peace, and I'm never scrapped. But I know the crew of young guns that'll send you back. So easy does it on the GL. Piece to Pete Rock and the Macadon CL. Heavy D's on the truck, let you know the road replacements. Peace, sign it off, check 1, 2 strokes from the basement.
All right, let me take you to a time and place. Let me take you back to the year 1992. That's right, with P Rock and CL Smooth off that album Mecca and the Soul Brother. The name of that song was The Basement. As you hear, he had a crew song on there, had Heavy D, a bunch of others people back, Robbo and stuff like that on that track. Yo, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, donate where at blkliberationmedia.org. Yes, go get you some merch, get fly, you know what I'm saying, get you some hoodie or something. All right, And show your love. Sharing is caring, caring is sharing. So do that. All right, let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. The Ayatollah. I learned something new today, y'all. I learned something new yesterday. Hubris.
What's that word again?
Hubris.
No E, boo. No
E.
Hubris.
No
Hubris.
It's
Okay. And
that's it.
Credulity.
The what?
Credulity.
Yes.
Yeah. So, come to Remix Morning Show and you'll learn something new every time you tune in. All right. Later.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Did you have anything? You have any stories, Renee?
Well, yesterday, let me figure out where I was at. So someone sent me an article on Mamdani that I thought was super, super well done. And I think it's an important conversation to have about how people get tricked by politicians all the time. And now I have consistently complained about young Mamdani, and not because
sorcery of soft.
Isn't that a great title?
It is gorgeous. And it's in Scalawag magazine. I love it.
And so, I look, and there's just so much more that I think needs to be understood about how these things work. But the giggle for folks, just in case you're on a phone and can't read the screen, it's Zohran Mamdani and the Sorcery of Soft Rebellion is the title of the article, and it's in Scalawag magazine. And it is a really well done look at how the general population of people who really want things to change are very, very easily misled into believing that people who are within the system can do something to change it from within. And it's just not, that's not how it works. It's really, really not how it works. And the article is great. Let me drop the actual link in the chat so people can read it if they want. And I highly recommend it. I think it's important. This is also plays into this whole, not plays in, but it's part of this whole idea of the left, right? The online left, how we get consistently fed these things. So then you start to think that stuff is happening. Shout out to Dre in the chat who coined the term progressive inertia for me, which I think is just the best. It's such a good term. It's just such a good way to put it. It's good. It's good.
That's really good. Huh,
and so, I think articles like these that point out how limited people really are when they have to run within the system and when they have to play games with the system, right? Because as long as you're doing that, you're not working for the people. Period. There's literally no way around it. And so him running as a democratic socialist automatically meant he was off my list of things to be excited about. And the only thing, and this is a conversation that I had with my mother, the only thing that I will credit his campaign with is that people weren't as crazed about the word socialism. Right? Which I think started with Bernie a little bit, and it's trickled in, AOC trickled in. I mean, none of these people are socialists, but in their efforts to kind of weave in the Democrats with socialism so that they could sell people on this idea that the Democrats are better than the Republicans, they've managed to create this space for people to actually attempt to understand what socialism actually is, and to not be afraid of it anymore. So I'll credit I'll credit the campaign simply with the idea that they actually got 1 million people, more than 1 million people, to not be terrified by the word socialist, right? But that's all the credit they're going to get from me. That's all we're getting, right? And so, but it's a fascinating, and it's a long article, and Jackie hasn't read it, so I won't, but that's the core of it. It's this wanting people to understand what happens when you get excited by the progressive inertia, and then you realize that this person is really just part of the Democratic Party, and there is nothing that's going to come out of it that's going to result in any real monumental change. Even the things that he claims he's going to do, they're going to remain within the bubble of what is allowed by the Democratic Party, because they're just simply not going to be willing to do anything beyond that.
Right. And yeah, I'm definitely going to check that article out. But the thing that is really interesting is that when we make these critiques about these kinds of electoral efforts within this current system, people take the critique of their favorite great, I'm just going to say it, great white hope progressive, personally, as if we are like attacking this person because we personally hate them. And that's not, no, we hate this system. And we are trying to explain to you that there is no operating inside this system that does not exist to allow for the system itself to be changed in any way that will change the distribution of power and resources in the system. This system was not designed for the people in the first place. So if it wasn't designed for the people, then it wasn't designed for the people to be able to work inside of it and make the system work for the people. That the system wasn't designed for us. It was designed for a few people to profit off of the exploitation of the rest of us. And we keep thinking that some one person or a political party is going to be able to be, I can't even say radical enough, because that's not even what people want. People don't want a radical response to this system, because the radical response to the system is changing the system, is getting rid of this system. But what people want is a reform hero, right? They want somebody who is radical enough to go in and say, and do what Mamdani has said that he's going to do. He's going to make some changes that are going to bring some small benefits to the people. And for the people, maybe those benefits aren't small, right? Because affordable public transportation, that's not a small thing, right? I understand that. Affordable housing, that's a huge thing. But when we're looking at what he's saying and what he's promising, when you look at it in the context of what the system will allow, then we start and we start pulling back and looking at the system. Then we have to start looking at what he's really promising, because can he really provide truly affordable housing, or is affordable housing going to happen in the context of the people who control housing now being the ones to decide what's affordable, which is what is happening now, right? So
Right.
When we're asking these questions of how is this person going to change the way the system exists, and if we are pointing out they can't change the way the system exists, because that's not how this system works, instead of progressives and leftists saying, you know what, yeah, the system is fucked up, yeah, that's right, you can't change this, because I really think people really do know that. It's just people are really, really afraid of of an alternative that they haven't seen or that they claim they haven't seen. But I mean, Cuba, Venezuela, China,
right,
Vietnam,
right,
they
right,
exist, right? So it's not that people haven't seen these things. So that kind of leads me to another kind of possible analysis that I'm just going to keep to myself because I don't want to condemn everybody. But
ooh, Jackie about to get a call later. Like, what was you doing? What? I want to know.
I'm just not. I just at this point, when all of the contradictions are all out on the floor, I don't understand what people are confused about. Because so there are only certain conclusions I can come to, and I don't want to come to those conclusions because that doesn't leave us in a good place as far as actual change and organizing is concerned. But at the same time, I have to remind myself that no revolution in the history of revolutions has ever been carried out by a majority of the masses that needed to be free.
Right.
Every revolution has always been carried out by a very small percentage of the masses.
Right.
So I think we're there. I think we're almost at that point. It's just really uncomfortable to realize the landscape that we're really working with here.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think this is probably the same landscape that every revolution has come up out of.
I agree. And real quick, because I have not been good with this, and I do this often. So we've gotten some chats. So thank you, Mark George, who says, thank you both for the discussion and this dose of sanity. U.S. hubris. U.S. hubris has no limit, does it? No, it does not. It does not have a limit. I think we're seeing that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex, who says U.S. Israel American Zionists just attacked Iran's gas, oil, and infrastructure, and Iran just announced it will attack the GCC's infrastructure. This does not bode well for any of us. This only escalates. I agree. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things about, and it's something that I probably need to do a little more looking into with regard to the climate and how these things, this black rain and how these things, because the one thing I think people often like totally miss is like air has no boundary. Right? Like the atmosphere and air and wind, like there is no boundary to that. There is nothing that you can put up in the sky that's going to prevent something that's over one area from moving to a new area. And I think the gross like and I don't even know if it's really, I don't want to use the word misunderstanding because I'm not entirely sure that these people are not just out to try and decrease the population across the world in general. And so, they may not care, but I think that people could look at something like that happening and not understand that the air will carry things wherever it wants to carry things. And you may think you're far enough away from something that it's not going to impact you, but you have no way of actually preventing that from happening because the air goes and the atmosphere goes and the wind blows and the clouds move. And like all of these things move without any of our control over it. And I encourage people to really think about that. And it might be, I might have to find somebody who really understands this thing about like atmospheric winds and how these things really move. Because this is just me using my own, that's just common sense to me. That if you do something in the atmosphere, we can't stop it from moving wherever the hell it decides to go.
Right. I mean, but then again, this country and these people in this country, man, we live in a country in which this government did nuclear tests in the desert, but near populated towns. Way later in history than we think, like up into the 70s and the 80s. And there are people still, because I just watched a documentary not too long ago about one of these tests that I guess there were somebody was making a movie in a town that was the site of a nuclear test that wasn't really told about in history, and people were dying of cancer, and then some of the crew members, because the nuclear waste was never dealt with, so then some of the crew members on the movie
I saw this
ended up with
documentary,
cancer.
Jackie. Yes,
And
because the air is still
yes, because the air does what it does. It moved the radioactive particles from the site of the detonation to the nearest town where the air blew over. So we live in a country where basic ass science is clearly not understood or paid attention to, not just by government officials, but by regular people. Like, how do you, I really don't I'm really, like, I knew people in this country were messed up. You know, once you become aware of history and you realize how much people have gotten not gotten away with, how much people in this country have tolerated and given silent consent to atrocities committed right here in this country. I'm not even talking about the imperialist invasion and the war, the things that this government has done to people in this country. All of the millions of people who have just been like, oh, well, that's too bad, so sad, but okay, how much is gas? You know what I mean? It's like these are the people we are in this country with. These are the people we are living with. And I think that has probably unnerved me in the past couple of weeks more than anything else, because Renee, it's not like I didn't know that there were some people in this country like this, right? Because the slavery wouldn't have happened as long as it
I mean,
did.
you live here.
Right? Like when you know that little bit of history, you're like, well, yeah, them people was fucked up, right? Like everybody. But then when you look at that history and you just stretch that line out, everything that has happened since then that people have never really unmasked, have never really resisted. It was like, oh, that was terrible. Or most people in this country found a reason to agree with the atrocity and justify it. You know, it's not a surprise that this country is where it is, but it's also a little bit shocking that so many people are as, I can't even call it all progressive inertia, but there is a massive level of inertia and what is the word, disaffection, disconnection among, I think, more than half of the people in this country. That is unnerving, and I think that I think that needs to be named. I think a lot of people are afraid to say that. Okay, now I'm kind of scared of all these people.
Right.
You know?
And then the other struggle is, and it's all so connected, and I just, you know, I struggle so much when I see people who don't understand that their struggles are all connected to all of these other things, right? And so I always try to be cautious of just being like, oh, these people just don't pay attention, they don't care. Because I know people who can barely get through the day, right? They've got multiple jobs, they've got sick relatives, they've got children. That's Ear Doctor's new thing when he
And the Black Liberation Media word for the day
is inertia. Inertia.
Use it in a sentence. But, and real quick, hold on, before I forget, I wanted I missed A-Rob's super chat. Sorry about that. But he said, I figured he must be this is Mamdani. I figured he must be bullshit when the people in my city who ignored my campaign as an actual socialist were all excited about Mamdani and called the liberal Dem Senate candidate Durham's Mamdani. Woo, the confusion. Thank you for that super chat.
So much confusion.
So sorry, man.
So much confusion. But Ashley, yeah, we had this conversation during her campaign. Anywho. But so where I was going with this whole thing is really like, there's also a part of this that is an intentional wearing down of people in a way that they physically and mentally cannot handle attempting to understand any of these things that's happening, right? And so I call it the hamster wheel, right? And shout out to Sam when she watches this at some point, because she's gonna help. We're gonna figure out how to do like a short animation about a person like on a hamster wheel and all the things happening around them. But anytime they try to do anything that doesn't keep them on step in the hamster wheel, like it just falls apart. Because this is what it's supposed to be like for a lot of people, right? You're so busy trying to survive within this capitalist system because you want to eat. You want to be able to go wherever you need to go so you can work, so you can eat. You want to be able to keep your roof over your head or whatever, you know what I mean? Like all of these things. And so you're so focused on just like, let me just get to the next paycheck, right? That you don't even understand that the reason you are struggling to get to your next paycheck is because the system has initially it's totally set up in order for that to be the only thing that you have time to manage, right? And when I think about how crazy it is that, like, I think about Walmart all the time. Like all the time. And I don't shop at Walmart in part because to me, Walmart smells a little funny, but also because I don't know why. It always smelled a little funny to me, but
really,
yeah, I don't know what it is. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I used to go when I was living in Maryland and, like, I don't know. But anyway, but someone broke down Walmart on a reel somewhere, and they were like, you're mad at the woman who wants to buy whatever she wants to buy, like, Fruit Loops for her kids using her food stamps, but you're not mad at Walmart, who doesn't pay their workers, doesn't pay taxes, and because they don't pay their workers and want to keep all the money, their workers are all living off government subsidies, so they're ripping you off times 3. And you're not mad at Walmart, but you're mad at the woman who lives down the street from Walmart who has to use her food stamps to buy Fruit Loops for her kids because she wants to do something for her kids because that's the little bit that she can do, right? And so after that, I was like, I can't go into Walmart ever again. I can't go in there.
I feel that
again.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Right. And this is no, if Walmart's all you have access to, like, I'm not mad at you. You have to do what you have to do. I'm not doing it. I don't want to be part. I don't want to be party to it.
Right. And you know what? I feel the same way about like the Dollar Trees and the Dollar General, and everybody's like, oh my God, why shop at those? So how poor have you clearly have never been poor. People who criticize folks shopping at those kinds of stores clearly are not poor and have never been poor and live in areas where they have options for where they can shop. Because a lot of my folks in these little towns, and that's the other thing, off on a little tangent, because I've been thinking about this a lot too, Renee. Because we are on that hamster wheel, where the only thing we can think about is surviving this day. A lot of our people, most of our people are in this situation. we also don't have the time or the money to go anywhere, which means we don't know anything about people who are not directly in our physical location, right? So we don't know how people not in our areas live. And that creates problems in both, I think, in a lot of different ways. Obviously, for people with money, they don't know shit about how people with no money live. They don't know. This is why, one of the reasons why people with a little bit of money think the things they do about poor people, because they do not live around us, they don't know us, they don't care. Right. And they believe this. It's easy to indoctrinate people in this country about other people in this country. Literally, one of the reasons why it's so easy is because we don't live near each other. We don't know anything about the people who do not live near us. We are very, I don't know if balkanized is the right word, but I feel like that is the situation where we live, where there is not one United States. There are a bunch of little fiefdoms all over the place with different character, cultures, politics, and there is no real national anything. There is no national unity in this country. We don't know anything about each other in this country. So it is easy to indoctrinate people in the Midwest against people on the coasts, where you got a lot of people in the Midwest believing things like, oh, the big cities where all the blacks live and where all the immigrants live, they're dangerous because those people don't live around most of us. Right? And it's easy for most of us to think that most people who live in the Midwest and in areas where there's not a lot of ethnic diversity, that all those people are Trump supporters, all those people are hillbillies and backwards, and they're all racists. And it's easy to indoctrinate people in a society where people are not physically near each other and cannot make these connections with each other and see that what they're told about other people is bullshit. So when I see people doing what you're talking about, having all this anger for the workers at Walmart and for poor people who, shop at Walmart with full food stamps, and being mad at people needing food stamps, but not being mad at the capitalists stealing from workers their wages and stealing from people tax revenue that should be used to build up their communities. It is easy, I think, to indoctrinate people to be mad at the victims of the capitalist exploitation, because people who don't live in those kind of conditions, it's easy to indoctrinate them to believe that it's the poor people's fault because they don't live around those people. And I don't know how to fix that. I think the only way to fix that is for white people to organize white people. But you see where that's gotten us. So. I don't know. I don't know why I said all that, because that's where we are.
That's where we at. That's where we at. And just so people know, Jackie and I have a very special love for each other due to the big white tent.
Just unless you live through that 2016 online left, you don't understand
such
the
a
trauma.
Such a debacle. So I don't know, and I guess the answer is organized, right? That's what we've got, right? Is organized. Get around some folks, try to, I don't know, talk to your neighbor. And granted, I live in the tree-lined streets, right? This was an intentional decision. This is what we wanted to do because I was sick of walking out my apartment building to somebody peeing at the bus stop. Sorry, right? So we now live where there's grass and trees, and there's like a neighborhood fox, literally like a fox who just runs around the neighborhood. It's wild. We live like, it's crazy. But I know my neighbors, right? And so like 2 days ago, a little girl rang the bell and she was like, I'm looking for, and I was like, this is the wrong house, baby. You got to go 2 more doors down. And I'm sure when I opened the door, she was like, ooh, this is definitely the wrong house. But once I closed the door, I sent a text to my neighbor and I was like, somebody just came looking for your daughter. And I told him to go 2 doors down to just keep an eye out to make sure that she gets there, right? But this won't happen everywhere. Right? And in some places, people ring doorbells and get shot. Right? And so what I encourage people to do is take the opportunity to go outside. And it is not comfortable at all times to like actually put yourself out there because not everybody's nice. And in fact, a lot of people are just assholes, right? And so you may, listen, you may encounter an asshole, but I mean, we have to get beyond this idea that we're all enemies. Like everybody's trying to get me, right? Like there has to be like a space in between where you can be cautiously optimistic, where you can try and maintain your own feeling of personal safety, but still understand that you live amongst other people. And the only way things are going to manage is if you know each other, right? Like when whatever storm happened and there was no water anywhere, but I get waters from my mother in upstate. So I always have a collection of waters in the garage. And so I sent a text out to the group chat and I was like, listen, I have extra waters. If people need water, just come to the garage. Don't worry about it. Right? But this is how we'll survive. Right. And so it's really important that people take that opportunity. And it's important that people take the opportunity to organize. We did the live last weekend. I don't know if you heard, we decided on a whim to do a live Saturdays with Renee in Newark.
Oh, okay.
So we did a live. There's like 30 people in the room, which was cool. Like definitely wasn't sure what to expect, but we also opened the room for communities to come in, for community organizations to come in. So CMB, Green Party, and PSL had their tables, and people were able to go over and get information and buy books and talk about Wali Bey, like all the things. So my goal in all things is to get people to realize that we have to find a way to work together, because doing it alone is never going to work. The one thing that I know for sure is that doing it alone is not going to work. That's there's never going to happen. So, but I don't know, man. We living in wild times. We are living in wild times because it's meant to feel exhausting. Right. So the reason you feel exhausted is because that's what you're supposed to feel exhausted by it. You're supposed to feel like there's no end in sight. You're supposed to feel like there's nothing you can do, because you're supposed to just be on your hamster wheel and not be paying attention to all these other things that are happening. Like that's what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. So
if you're exhausted and you're only focused on surviving this day, you can't pay attention to all of the crimes being committed against you by your own government, by the government that uses your tax dollars to kill other people here and around the world. If you're only focused on your own survival, and that's Like literally, if you don't work 2 or 3 jobs, you will be homeless.
Which is
Man.
crazy.
And when you look at and then when you look at other societies that they say, like Cuba, like Venezuela, like China, where people don't exist in that kind of environment, but they are under external pressure, right? That there is still a level of stress there, but the stress is focused on fighting an external force. It's the stress is not, I am trying to survive because my government is trying to kill me and exploit me. No, the stress is another government won't let us live in peace. And I think that's a different kind of stress that is, and I'm not minimizing it, but I do think it is a different kind of stress when you don't have to worry about how I'm going to eat today. Right? Because your government is making your everyday life so difficult. When you live in a country where you don't have to worry about if you're going to be homeless if you don't have a job, where you don't have to worry about if I get sick, can I afford to go to the doctor, where you don't have to worry about if I don't make a certain amount of money, I can't send my kid to college. When you live in a society where you don't have to worry about those kinds of things, there is a level of stress that is removed from your life. And it opens up your ability to focus on developing as a human being, right? And paying attention to other things outside of yourself, which gives people in countries like this the ability and the bandwidth to understand and to participate in international solidarity and politics on an international level, right? And I think that's probably an oversimplification of what I'm thinking of, but I do think that the example that these countries provide for us are one of the reasons that they are always attacked.
Yep.
And are being destroyed, because they can't continue to be the example for us. Our people can't find out there really is a better world possible. And this government is trying to destroy it. So you never find out. Right?
Right. That's the intention. That's the intention. I mean, it's 100% why Cuba has been under fire for, what is it, 67 years? Is that how long? So,
and I just want to point out, the hood communist is back. Woohoo! And D. Musa Springer has this fantastic piece in Hood Communist, Castro, Cuba, and Pan-African Commitments. I'm going to drop this in the chat for you to read, because, we are Africans, and we absolutely insist, we don't just advocate, we insist on our people understanding why internationalism is so critical to this struggle. Just like Renee just said, all of these things are connected. Everything is connected, not just domestically. It's all connected internationally too. The war in Iran, absolutely connected to us. You've seen videos with Africans in Iran. I bet you didn't know there were Africans in Iran. Well, there are. And they are related to us. So yes, Iran is an African issue too. But Iran is also an African issue because we're anti-imperialists. And Iran is fighting imperialism, not just for them, but for the entire region. Right? So we do need to understand our connection to these issues, not just because they affect the price of gas for us, which, that's very important, because can't none of us afford to live in this piece anymore. But these things are connected to us because our people are absolutely impacted in a material way there and here. And the liberation struggles of our people, like in Sudan, are also directly connected to what's going on in Iran, because the UAE has been funding the RSF in Sudan. And now that Iran is kicking the UAE's ass, now Sudan has a clearer path to their liberation. It's all connected. So
absolutely. And it's fun. We shared that article by Musa yesterday on
good.
Remix. And so right behind it, we also shared this piece from Pambazuka News, who released an entire collection of articles about Cuba and why there is a debt that is owed. And I think one of the things, and I said this yesterday, and I'll just keep on saying it over and over again, that I'm really upset about is how quickly people and countries and nations that have been completely supported by Cuba for decades have turned their back to capitulate to the West. And I say this again, being fully aware that, countries are at times having this internal debate of, okay, so if we tell the West no, what does that mean? Like, what happens then? And so I, as someone who is not in a governmental position to make any decisions, right? It's very easy for me to be totally disgusted by these decisions, but I also fully acknowledge that if I am running a little tiny sovereign nation that doesn't want a bomb dropped on us, I don't know how you respond to that, right? I don't know. Now I do know that Motley, that's Barbados, right? I'm not who was like, we're about to increase our work with Cuba. Y'all mess around, So obviously there's a way, right? And I always wonder, like, wouldn't it be more beneficial for all of these nations that are so afraid of what the consequences would be if they just decided to work together instead and separate themselves, right? But I, again, this is me dreaming of a future that I desperately want to happen, and having to see how that all plays out. But we'll see. Time tells all things.
It does. And another thing, and I know we're running up on time, but I wanna highlight this too. Because that's the other thing, with the whole Oscars thing. I've been trying not to. I've been trying, because I don't know what it is, but I must accidentally use foreign words that piss people off when I try to explain some of these things. I don't know. So I just don't have these conversations with people anymore about their favorite entertainment and why are you upset at the Oscars for not picking Sinners as well? Why are you upset? It is an institution that was created to destroy unions in Hollywood. That's what the Academy Awards is. That is why the Academy Awards was created, to divide actors and workers in Hollywood, so that workers would have less power and actors would not support workers. Right. That is why the Academy Awards was created. So I don't know why anybody believes that an institution that was anti-worker and anti-democratic is going to be honest in recognizing the talent and the brilliance of Black folks. I don't know why, but
I also don't know why Black people want shiny things from white people. Why?
I understood it at some point, because all right, we're fighting to be accepted and equal and whole. Okay, fine, but okay, now we ought to be beyond that. We ought to understand. No, they don't want us.
Right.
And at some point, you just got to be like, okay, you don't want to be in a relationship with me. Okay, I'm leaving. Yep. I don't. But anyway, so this whole conversation about culture, acceptance and the politics behind it all. The role of culture in politics and how we see the two. This is a great piece, from Erica in Hood Communist. Beyond the Halftime Show, Bad Bunny, cultural imperialism. It's a thing, y'all. This is why we talk. When we are criticizing culture, we're not doing it because we hate the artist, right? I don't do it because I hate the artist. I may dislike their art, but I don't care enough about the artist to spend a whole lot of time criticizing them. I am paying attention to what they are telling people and what those messages are normalizing for the consumer, right? Because Bad Bunny's Halftime Show is a different analysis for me than Beyonce's Cowboy Carter. For you know what I mean? There are different messages. Even both have problems, both have some type of positive aspect. They're different, but both can be critiqued, right? So the critique doesn't mean that the artist is or the art is invalid. The critique is, what is the role of the art in the context of politics, imperialism, and what message the system that creates the art and approves it and publicizes it, what message they're trying to convey through the art. That's why you got to read this article. It
Absolutely.
is very, very good.
Very shout out, and it is very good. And shout out to Ricky, and I think these things have to be explored. Like, there has to be room for these conversations about things that people get really excited about, to remind people that, like, what is it exactly that you're so excited about? You're really, really excited right now about who's going to get the shiny thing, the next shiny thing from the white person. And, like, where what are you getting from this once it happens, right? Like, the Oscars
more money
on Sunday. Who got more money?
The people, the streamers. When you talk about Grammys, Oscars, you can go in the room and be like, you see, I just got this award. Now you know how to pay me more as an actor. That's all it is.
But that's for them. I'm talking about for the people.
Oh man, I ain't thinking about no people.
Right.
You're living in a fantasy land, Renee. Really?
And with that, Ear Doctor has told the great truth,
the grand truth of it all.
The grand truth of entertainers in a capitalist system. That right there. Yep.
I mean,
individualist rot. That is what my girl Laura Shika refers to it as, individualist rot, and it's such a great term for it.
I mean, that's why we're balkanized around here. You know what I mean? It's you just really think about oh yeah. You just really think about our communities, and you talk about going door to door. It's like, man, people are renting right now. They don't even know each other, and they don't want nobody else's problems. Back in the day, we actually had our own houses. We stayed in neighborhoods for a while. Now you got people moving in and out every day. You don't even want to get in their life because.
And just shout out, Sam. You get a fake gold-plated naked man statue, and she knows because she's been up for those, and she's been on the red carpet. So shout out, Sam.
Let me get a word.
When we like I said, when we our critique of culture is not, it's not to destroy or condemn the art. It really is one of the ways that we organizers ask ourselves, okay, what's our answer to this though? Right. What do we have? If this is insufficient, what's our answer?
Yep.
How are we explaining this to the people? That's and I think that's a bigger part of that article than just, a critique of culture, because culture is key in organizing and revolution. You have to have culture in organizing and revolution. I mean, what are you trying to build on the other side of this? What kind of culture are you trying to build on the other side of this? So,
well, what kind of culture are you going to bring to them on Darker Than Blue this week, Jackie?
I don't know. I'm gonna try. I had Nina Farnia on last week, and I'm gonna repost that video because it was really good. That interview was really good. I don't know what I'm talking about this week. I'm gonna try to see if I can get either Dr. Gabriel Rockhill on to talk about his new book.
I'm like on chapter 2.
Yeah. Or Dr. Sayed Mohammed Marandi, who we used to talk to all the time on By Any Means Necessary, but we'll see. I don't know. I'll be talking about something. Don't know what yet.
Okay. What about Saturdays with Renee? You gonna be back in the studio?
Yes, I'll be back behind the screen. The joke was I was gonna bring a big piece of paper with my little graphic on it and put it in front of my face. But no, so we're gonna bring the students back from North Carolina Central so that they can give us an update on what not only this, returning to discuss their previous struggles with the university, but to talk about their current organizing work and what they're doing now. So Dre. Shout out to Dre. Happy belated. I hope he enjoyed his birthday on Saturday. Dre was after me to watch that damn movie, and it's his fault that I watched it. And we're gonna bring Dre on so we can talk about it. We got a lot to do, but happy belated birthday, Dre. I hope you enjoyed your birthday.
This man said one Saturday after the other. I mean,
I can't with him. I cannot with him.
I didn't finish watching that movie. I think I watched the first 25 minutes of it. I was like, you know what? This is enough for me. That's okay.
Yeah.
This is enough for me too. Make sure y'all come back tomorrow at 8 a.m. for some more of the Remix Morning Show, and also tomorrow come for a classical breakdown. As me and Kim Brown will finally do Salt and Pepper, and we will not be doing Salt and Cinnamon. All right, so so make sure y'all tune in for that, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? That's Jackie Lukeman. That's Renee Johnson. I'm the Ear Doctor, and this is the Remix Morning Show, and you are tuned in to Black Liberation Media. Peace out, y'all. Have a great one. That's how you do it, Jackie?
Yes.
Okay, I like it. Peace. Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.